Welcome to Asian Anifacts, the channel about Chinese, Korean, Taiwanese actors and actresses. Today I will show you the lists of dramas of Lee Young-e. Part 8, which include her role as a court lady that later became a female imperial physician in the historical drama Dae Jang Geum. Her role as a university lecturer aiming to become a professor that found a diary containing the life of a famous female painter from Joseon dynasty in the costume romance drama Saimdang, Light's Diary. But before I continue, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment on who do you want me to feature next. Dae Jang Geum. 2003. A historical drama consisting of 54 episodes which premiered on September 15, 2003. It tells the story of a woman who trained to become a court lady but later become the first and only female imperial physician in Korean history. The cast includes Lee Young-e as the woman who was framed many times, encountered misfortune, and went through hardships in the intricate power struggle of the court, but overcame fate again and again, never gave up her principles of being a person, and finally came to the end, becoming a royal doctor with superb medical skills and noble medical ethics. Together with Ji Jin-hee, Hong Ri-na, Im Ho, Yang Mi-kyung, Kyeon Mi-ri, and many more. She played Dae Jang Geum, only daughter of a former military officer, and her mother is a former court lady. Dae Jang Geum entered the palace as a palace maid when she was 10, after her parents died because of her mistake. In the palace, Dae Jang Geum trained to become a court lady, and she became the disciple of one of the senior court ladies, that was unbeknownst to her was the best friend of her mother. However, because of her natural talent in cooking and intelligence, she was seen as an arrogant, which made her mentor monitor her closely whenever she made a mistake. Her mentor given her various tasks that are unique to her mentor, as she received strict training such as describing tastes, fetching water in a way that is considered the other's physical condition, and memorizing more than 100 harmful herbs. Dae Jang Geum meets a girl from an influential family who was being favored and treated as an elite by the court ladies, and when they both participate on a competition, the girl won first place while she won second place. Dae Jang Geum talent on naming different tastes of food that she was serving on the competition was seen by her mentor, which made her won the following competition on the palace, which made some court ladies to be jealous of her. On one occasion that Dae Jang Geum leave the palace to find an ingredient for her menu, she encounters an injured man whom she helps to wrap his wound. The injured man was Min Jong-ho, an internal security guard, who later became an inspector, and as Dae Jang Geum constantly encounter each other, he would always help her whenever she had any difficulties. Dae Jang Geum lost her ability to taste the food, but she had not told anyone about it except her mentor. Fortunately, on the competition she tried to imagine the taste of the food with the existing memory, and she continued to win. Some of the court ladies who were jealous of Dae Jang Geum were able to conclude that she had lost her ability to taste food, and they scheme against her. Fortunately, on the last competition, Dae Jang Geum ability to taste returned and won the competition. The chief court lady left the palace due to health problems, and Dae Jang Geum's mentor was appointed to be the next chief court lady after winning a competition against a fellow senior court lady. The best friend of Dae Jang Geum's mother obtained a letter left by her mother to her. Then she and her mentor were framed for the conspiracy that causes the king to be sick. Then she and her mentor were both exiled to Jeju Island. Dae Jang Geum finally knows that her mentor was one of the best friends of her mother, but due to the torture that they both suffer, her mentor died on the way to the Jeju Island, which left her in despair and tried to escape several times, but failed. Dae Jang Geum met Min Jong-ho on Jeju Island and finally knows that he was the injured man that she had saved before. Then Dae Jang Geum also met a doctor who accidentally took notice of her and taught her medical skills. Through the help of Min Jong-ho and her mentor, her sentence was reduced and she was allowed to take an exam to attend a school for medicine, and her intelligence and compassion on her patient was seen by her teachers, who made them possible for her to go back to the palace to become a physician. However, being a physician was considered a lower status, so she was ignored by her former fellow court ladies, except for a few friends who had truly seen her as a friend. Dae Jang Geum's excellent medical skills made her solidify her position more firmly than she did when she was a court lady. Dae Jang Geum saved the queen who suffered a miscarriage and saved a lot of people on a plague that swept the country. Through the plague, Dae Jang Geum was able to conclude that the king's sickness before was related to the plague, and she was able to heal the king and clear the name of her deceased mentor and became the highest-ranking physician in the court. Saimdang, Light's Diary. 2017. A costume romance drama consisting of 28 episodes which premiered on January 26, 2017. It's the story of a university lecturer who stumbles upon a diary of a famous female painter from the Joseon dynasty. The cast includes Lee Young-hee as the university from the modern world and the famous female painter from the Joseon dynasty, together with Song Sung-hyun, Oh Yoon-ah, Yang Se-jong, Choi Jong-hwan, and many more. She played Seo Ji-yoon, a mother of an 8-year-old son and wife of a well-known fund manager. Seo Lee-jun is also a university lecturer majoring in Korean art history and a researcher. Seo Ji-yoon's boss selected her to write a paper on a newly discovered painting attributed to a legendary Korean artist, which excites her very much because the opportunity promises prestige. However, when Seo Ji-yoon started to study painting, she lost track of time and forgot that relatives of her husband would visit them, so she rushed to go home. At night, Seo Ji-yoon continues to study the painting, then doubts the painting's authenticity and mentions it to her husband, but her husband told her to be foolish and to let it go. Before they sleep, Seo Ji-yoon mentioned her trip in Italy for a conference, which shocked her husband, and they started to argue because of her husband's concern for their child. The next day, Seo Ji-yoon introduced the painting in the university, but then one of the spectators who used to be a lecturer of her boss questioned the authenticity of the painting. At first she also doubted, but she chose to prove its authenticity. Seo Ji-yoon went to Italy to participate in the conference to get the position of professor, but she was maliciously expelled by her boss after all the preparation that she made for her boss, because of a viral video on the topic of authenticity of the painting. Seo Ji-yoon was kicked out of her hotel, and as she wanders on the street of Italy, an old man gave her an old book as a gift. Seo Ji-yoon rented a cheap hotel and cried on the injustice that had happened to her because of her boss, whom she had served for 5 years. Suddenly Seo Ji-yoon takes notice of the book that was given to her and realizes it was an old book that was written in Korean that had an Italian insignia, and realizes it was connected to the painting. Upon inquiring more, the insignia on the book lead her into an old castle in Italy, and when she entered the castle, a sudden urge that made her go to one of a room full of old painting. Then one of the mirrors suddenly explode and shone a hidden compartment where an old painting of a Korean woman was hidden. To Seo Ji-yoon's surprise, the woman in the painting looks exactly like her. The Italian man residing in the castle was also stunned that an old paint was hidden inside one of the paintings. There was also a box containing some old book written in ancient Chinese, which were all given by the Italian man to Seo Ji-yoon, believing it was fated to be her. Further researched, Seo Ji-yoon found out that the books was a diary of Saimdang, a genius painter, poet, and calligrapher who grew up in a blessed environment where being a woman was neither a stumbling block nor a fetter thanks to her father, a progressive idealist. Saimdang's personality and talent leave a lasting impression on a young man who is also a talented artist, writer, and musician, that fell in love with Saimdang. As Seo Ji-yoon learns more about Saimdang's diary, she begins to unravel the secret behind the painting of a woman, and she feels that she had returned to the Joseon dynasty. But in the modern time, Seo Ji-yoon is having a marital problem due to her husband's greediness that puts the family into bankruptcy. Seo Ji-yoon is also having issues with her boss, who tries to pass off to the artistic community a fake painting as authentic. Saimdang was forced to marry another young man, otherwise there would be a royal command to kill her beloved man. Years later, Saimdang met her beloved man again, who now discover the reason she broke up with him and had come to her aid several times when she is in trouble, and even care for her children who are not his own. Saimdang's foolish husband cheated on her, so she ended her marriage and became the breadwinner of the family, as she started to create a new kind of art paper that is superior to others on the market. Saimdang decided not to remarry as she wants her children to be able to hold their heads high in society. In the end, Dae Jang was able to become a professor through her own discovery of Saimdang books and paintings, and was also able to expose all the scheme that her boss did to pass a fake painting as an authentic. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.